I'll get you out of here on this, Scott, which is about the leadership. And we saw Victoria Nuland showing up there last week and under the mysterious circumstances. And now we have this report of a apartment complex in Dubai for $17 million that apparently Zelensky had purchased at the end of December through a proxy. Will he live out his days in Dubai? There was some suggestion he would wind up in Florida, which I imagine there'd be a revolt in Florida if that happens. But really at the heart of it is the leadership question inside of Kiev right now. Who's running the show? How long until Zelensky is there? Or is he pretty much gone as it is?
Well, we've all heard the rumors that Zelensky tried to fire Zelensky last week, and Zelensky said no. Now, remember, we call Ukraine this wonderful democracy. And a key aspect of democracy is the civil-military relationship where the civilians are supreme. And so when a civilian leader tells a recalcitrant general, you have to go, the only answer is, yes, sir, I resign. Look, the United States has its own history in this regard. Go back to the Civil War and look at, General McClellan and Abraham Lincoln. McClellan thought he could run the war better than Lincoln, and Lincoln ended up firing him, and McClellan stepped aside. Douglas MacArthur and Harry Truman in the Korean War. Douglas MacArthur was convinced that he alone had the solution, that Harry Truman didn't know what he was doing. But when Harry Truman finally said, enough is enough, you're fired, MacArthur stepped aside. We have a situation now where Zelensky has been exposed as not only corrupt, but incompetent. He's a man who has interfered with the course of this war, insisting that the Ukrainians stick it out in Bakhmut, losing 70,000 men there, insisting on this counteroffensive, losing 90,000 men, and now insisting on Advievka, this battle, defending to the bitter end, losing, we don't know how many, probably 50, 60,000 Ukrainians. And Zelensky is saying, I would have done this differently. I would have done this differently. Now, Zelensky's trying to blame Zelensky to make Zelensky the fall guy. Zelensky's not having any of that. Zelensky has said, I can not only run the military better than Zelensky, I'm a better leader. He is a political challenger to Zelensky. That's why there's no elections, because Zelensky knows that if there were elections and Zelensky threw his hat in the ring, Zelensky would lose. So Zelensky canceled the elections. When he tried to fire Zelensky, not only did Zelensky say no, but the military backed Zelensky up, saying we're not going to allow this. Victoria Nuland traveled to Kiev to sort this out, because this would be devastating for the United States if there were a coup d'etat in Kiev. How do you call it a democracy when a junta is now in charge? Everything would fall apart. Congress could never pass the money that they're trying to pass for Ukraine. And so we're in a situation now where they're trying to figure out how to unravel this political disaster. We talked about the military collapse of Ukraine, but I've always said that accompanying that will come the societal collapse and the political collapse. And we're looking at the political collapse right now. The question now is, can Zelensky convince Zelensky to resign and step aside without any drama? And the answer right now is we don't know. We don't know. The United States is putting pressure on that. But if he doesn't, then the question is, what do you do about Zelensky? Do you let him force this issue so that there is a coup, which makes it impossible to support Ukraine, or does Zelensky step aside? Zelensky is an actor, and for the last 2 years, he's been playing the part in a melodrama, the narrative, the script of which is written by the West. But the problem is he forgot that he's just an actor. He's like an actor who suddenly believes he is the character that he's playing, that he is this Superman, that he is this Winston Churchill, that he can do anything he wants, and he's lost focus. I think what Nuland did, and what the Americans continue to try to do, is to remind Zelensky that he's playing a role and that the series has been canceled, and it's time for him to step aside. If he doesn't, I don't think he's going to live in that Dubai apartment. I don't think he's going to live in Miami. I think he's going to die in a courtyard in Kiev, gunned down by soldiers who feel betrayed by this man who has literally destroyed their country.
You're not the only one saying that right now, by the way. Scott Ritter, thank you.